Alright, so I was going to go on a rant about how the news on March 11th, which was the day of the tsunami, just pissed me off and made me angry with humanity. But then I watched John Green's Thoughts from Places video and he kind of took the fight out of me. But I'm going to explain why it made me angry. A lot of the news just made me sad, all of the footage and all the people, because I have a couple friends in Japan. And I was worried about them, even though I saw from Facebook that they said they were fine. Because who could be truly fine after that? You can be uninjured and you can be safe. But the things that happened were awful. And so we were watching the news all day, like most people were. And I live in California, in Los Angeles. And people here have a tendency to be a bit more self-centered than other people. And I'm not one to be all like, oh, you're also selfish, because I've had my moments too. Had more than my share of moments where I've been selfish. But this was different because it was the news. And it was broadcast to everyone. And it was telling everyone that this is what's important and this is what you should be paying attention to. Yes, scary bad things happen, but this is important. And the thing that happened was this. They had news reporters at every beach waiting for this tsunami wave that was going to hit California, which turned out to be about 3 feet high. 6 feet in some places. So yes, a 6-foot wave can do small amounts of damage to things if it is enclosed in, say, a marina, where there are boats and docks. But in the scheme of what happened on March 11th, it isn't a big deal. It didn't really do anything. It wasn't something that needed to be news. Perhaps as a warning to people to say, please be careful at the beaches. The currents and waves may be extra strong today, or please prepare your boats and your marina accordingly because they may or may not be damaged. But what happened was this. They had reporters stationed at every beach waiting for this great wave to come. They had spectators waiting. That got about 60% of the news time interspersed with news about Japan. So to sum it up, California's little 3-foot, 4-foot wave was more important than the 23-foot wave and the 8.9 earthquake and the thousands of people dead and the tens of thousands of people displaced or missing or hurt or scared. And worse than that, and that was the news all day. It was people waiting for this wave that didn't really come, and people talking about the tsunami wave that didn't really happen and didn't really hurt stuff. And one lady saying she wished she could have seen a bit bigger wave. Ma'am, I think you need to think globally. At least for today. But the thing that really, really bothered me the most was a lady they had interviewed who in a marina in Northern California had some damage to boats. And by some damage, I mean some boats were on their side, some boats were underwater. So yes, there was damage to the boats. I believe the headline used was boat marina destroyed. No, it wasn't destroyed, it was damaged. Parts of Japan were destroyed. The marina was not completely wiped off the face of the earth. The marina was not destroyed so far that there is not a building standing. It was damaged. The boats were damaged. And these are boats that aren't necessarily used for livelihood. These are not fishing boats. These are not, I need to go out on the fishing boat today so that I can bring in fish to sell to the fish market so that I can get money to pay for food for my family. These are, let's go out for the weekend on our boat. These are luxury boats. And they had this woman on the news sobbing because her boat was damaged by the 6-foot wave that hit the marina in Northern California. Sobbing. Like she had actually lost something so very important to her, like a family member, or her house, or her town. She had lost her luxury item. She had lost her weekend boat. And that is what bothered me the most, because that was the news here in LA on March 11th. That was what they chose to focus on. And that's what bothered me the most. By all means, please, cover the local news. I understand local news and the need for it. I understand the need to be like, this affected us too, this wave, this tsunami also affected us here. But don't cover it on that day. when so much had happened already. And that's why sometimes I think we all need to think a little more globally, and me included. Sometimes we can't afford to be so selfish because it just turns out wrong. So, also John Green recently talked about the need for better news, which means that we need to want better news and we need to look for better news. I was looking for better news on March 11th and I wasn't getting better news because all the people in LA could cover was the 3-foot wave that hit Santa Monica, the 6-foot wave that hit the marina and destroyed it. According to that news, the events in Japan were second. And I didn't like that. So please, please, can we try and think globally? Can we try and think about other people? And perhaps I'm not thinking of these people who are crying about their damaged boats complexly. But maybe I can think about you complexly tomorrow, when the damage and the destruction and the death isn't quite so fresh in my mind. When people who have lost family members and homes and towns and cities and are still losing them and are still facing crises, maybe I can think about you complexly after I'm finished thinking about them. Maybe you could think about them too.